Good morning, my dear students. Students, am I audible?
Yes, sir.
Right.
Sir.
Today we are going to discuss
Good morning, sir.
topic. That is inflorescence, right? And types of inflorescence. Previously, this topic has been discussed by another sir, right? So let us continue its classification, right? So yesterday we discussed about what is inflorescence and types of inflorescence. I'm going to show you, right? Once again to you the classification and types of inflorescence, right? Right? Previously we discussed about what is racemose and types of racemose that we discussed, right? So it is of classified into three types. They are the main axis elongated, the second category is the main axis shortened, and third one is the main axis flattened or globe-like structure, right? So the first part has been over, right? It has been completed. So let us continue. Main axis elongated, right? My dear student, please understand. We are going to discuss about main axis elongated or short. Elongated has been over, and let us continue. Main axis shortened, right? So generally, it is of two types. They are Chromium type and the Zambolite type. So simply, I can say the main axis. I'm talking about inflorescence, right? Particularly, I can say racemose type, in racemose, what we are going to see is the first type is main axis elongated, the second type is main axis shortened. I'm talking about main axis shortened. So the main axis which arises number of flowers, right? So the collection of flowers are arising from the axis that is called as an inflorescence. Sometimes the main axis is very elongated and sometimes the main axis are very shortened. So for example, now this is an axis, right? It is an axis, and this main axis which is very shortened, and it arises a number of flowers, right? It arises a number of flowers. The lateral growth of the inflorescence are having many flowers, right? So, but all the flowers are same in size. So they are called as simply, they are called main axis shortened. So it is of several types, but here we have the type is Chromium type. What is it called? Chromium types. So this is a diagrammatic representation. In that manner, the flowers are arranged. My dear student, it is a diagrammatic representation of main axis shortened. Now it is of two types. What are they? The first type is the Chromium type, and the second type is the humble type. I repeat once again. Main axis shortened. It is of two types. What are they? The first type is the Chromium type. Chromium. And the second type is humble type, right? In humble. So what is the difference between Chromium and humble? So both axes arising number of flowers, but all the flowers are arranged in same level at the bottom of an axis which are bearing a number of flowers. In case of Cecil Pina, I'd like to mention an example for Chromium. In that, we find the flowers are arranged in the manner. All the flowers are having pedicellate. Actually, it is called as a pedicel. What is it called? So this is a pedicel, stalk of the flower, but all the pedicelates are equal in size, right? In case of humble, whereas the arrangements of flower at the bottom are same level in case of Chromium. So that is the difference between Chromium and the humble. So simply I can say, here in case of Chromium, there will be a number of flowers are originated from the axis with the dissimilar size of length of pedicellate in case of Chromium. Whereas in humble, all the flowers are having same length, same size of pedicellate. So that is the difference between Chromium and the humble. For that, let me take first of all Chromium. So Chromium, I would like to mention Cecil Pina. That is the example. Cecil Pina. Cecil Pina or Cecil Pina. In the members of Cecil Pinaceae family, you find this kind of inflorescence, right? Actually, it is a diagrammatic representation. In that manner, the flowers are arranged, right? I mean, the young flowers are originated at the top and the old flowers are originated at the bottom. And you find here number of flowers are originated from the axis, but different length of the pedicellate, the stalk of the flower. So that is called as a Chromium type. So in order to understand very clearly, I'm going to show you the diagrammatic representation of exact flower, right? Then you can understand automatically. My dear students, yes, okay, no problem. It is, I think it has been missed out. No problem, right? This is a Chromium, right? Sure, my dear student, please understand. It is a type of inflorescence in which you see a number of flowers which are originated from the axis with a different length of pedicellate or stalk of the flower, which are different length. So such a condition is said to be as Chromium type, right? My dear student, you can understand what is Chromium. Chromium is a type of inflorescence in which, here, my dear student, you can understand what is Chromium type of inflorescence. Chromium type of inflorescence is the type of inflorescence in which we find a number of flowers are originated, but all the flowers are having different length of the pedicellate. But the arrangements of flower at the top in equal in arrangement. So equally, all the flowers are originated. Each one is represented as a flower. Each one is represented as a flower. But the stalk of the flower is a different length, but this arrangement which makes equally at the top, not bottom. So this kind of inflorescence is characterized in case of Caesalpina or Caesalpinaceae family. And talking about umbel, umbel is a type of inflorescence in which you can find all the flowers are originated from the main axis. Now this is the main axis in which a group of flowers are originated, but all the flowers are having same height of the flower, right? So here you find it. All the flowers are having same length of the axis, right? So that is called umbel. There is a cluster of flowers are originated with the same length of the pedicel. So this black color indicates simply axis, main axis of the inflorescence. So it is a diagrammatic representation. In that manner, all the flowers are originated. I mean, a cluster of flowers or a group of flowers are originated from the main axis, and they forms like same size, same length of the pedicellate. So that is a word to understand. That is a statement to understand easily. So this is called as an umbellate. I'm going to show you exactly the clear diagrammatic representation that you can understand, right? Here, my dear student, please understand now it is a, what is it? It is a type of inflorescence. What is the type? Umbellate type or umbel. Then what is umbel? The main axis. This is the main axis, my dear student. It is a main axis, okay? Simply I can say the main axis arises a group of flowers. Flower number 1, flower number 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. It's almost more than 5 flowers which are originated from the growing point of the axis simply. So the main axis, the tip of the main axis gives rise to form number of flowers. All the flowers are having equal length of stalk, floral stalk or pedicellate. So such a condition is said to be the umbellate type. Umbellate is nothing but this main axis in which at the tip you find a group of flowers are originated with the equal length of the pedicellate or stalk of the flower. That is called as an umbellate type, right? So now this umbellate type is characterized in case of right I can say Allium cepa, right? Allium cepa. I'm going to give an example for this Zambolite type. Allium cepa. It is a binomial of onion, right? Allium cepa. I'm going to show you the picture that you can understand, right? For each one, I'm going to show you the picture that you can understand. I'm talking about main axis shortened, right? They are Chromium type and the umbellate type. Now you can find easily the difference between Chromium and the umbel. So in that manner, you find the flowers are arranged in this manner, right? My dear students, you can understand. It is nothing but it is a flower The first thing is it is umbellate type. In that manner you find. Right here you see. This is a diagrammatic representation of arrangements of flower. So simply in case of Allium cepa, in that a group of flowers are originate at the tip of main axis, right? So that is called as an umbellate type or umbel type, right? Umbellate, umbel. Umbel is nothing but a group of flowers are originated at the tip of main axis, right? That is called as umbellate type, right? So for that umbel, I have given an example, Allium cepa. Whereas one more example I am going to give you for Chromium type, right? That is Caesalpina. So Caesalpina is one of the flower, which is an example of dear student. So this is a class in case of Caesalpina, which are arranged in this manner, right? So that is a different. Now you can find the difference, morphological difference between Chromium and umbellate, right? Here you see all the flowers are originated at the top equally, and the flowers are arranged with a different length of the stalk of the flower, right? So whereas in umbel you find all the flowers are having similar in size and length, right? So that is the difference between Chromium and the umbel. And the Chromium is further classified into two types. They are a simple Chromium and the compound Chromium, right? So Chromium is a series of another type I would like to mention, that is first of all, let me take the type of Chromium, right? Then we will come back umbellate type, right? So now Chromium, if it is branched in nature, this type of inflorescence is further gives rise to form branches. Simply I can say the main axis is a further branch to form. There will be a cluster of flowers which are originated in the same manner. That is called a compound Chromium, right? Please remember compound Chromium. So Chromium is simply, it is a branch to form as a compound Chromium, right? I like to mention the diagram of the representation that you can have. Now this is the main axis. It gives rise to form a number of flowers, right? Here it produces branches. Then each branches are having a group of flowers, right? Here you find the flowers arrangement. The flowers are, all the flowers are in this vein, right? It is a type of Chromium type inflorescence in which the flowers are arranged with the same size, same in length, because they have a different length of the stalk of the flower, right? But the flower arrangement equally, right? So that is a compound Chromium. Simply, this Chromium is further branch to form a cluster. So that is called a Chromium. For that, I am going to give an example, cauliflower, right? Cauliflower is a right example of compound Chromium, right? Right, I can say cauliflower. Cauliflower. So like that, the umbel is also further classified into following that. So simple umbel and a compound umbel. Right. Let me mention compound umbel. The compound umbel is, it is characterized in case of Dacus carota, and coriandrum sativum. Now this is the main axis, right? Then it further produces certain branches. Then from the each branches you find a group of flowers, right? All the flowers are same, which are having similar length of the stalk of the flower, right? In that manner, the flowers are arranged in this manner. So this is called the compound umbel. That means a cluster of flowers are originated from the main axis, which is further branched to form two branches, right? So this is called a compound umbel, right? So this kind of flowers are characterized in case of Darkus carota. Darkus carota. I'd like to give an example for this, right? What is the example? Darkus carota. Darkus carota. It is a binomial of carrot. Darkus carota is a binomial of a carrot. So rightly, I'm going to show you the diagrammatic representation of compound umbel, right? Sure, this is an arrangement where you find the flowers are arranged in this manner, right? Please understand, my dear student. It is a compound umbel in which a group of flowers are originated with the same length of the pedicellin or stalk of the flower. Each flower is represented as a flower. Each dot, the red color indicates a flower. That means there will be a number of flowers are originated in each axis, right? So the main axis further branches, further branched. It gives rise to from number of branches. Each branches produces, there is a cluster of flower at the tip of main axis, right? So that is the difference between compound umbel from a simple umbel. Simply, what is umbel? The main axis in which the tip which gives rise to form a number of flowers with the same length, right? So it is further branched to form each branches produces a group of flower or a cluster of flower which are originated from the every growing point of the main axis from each branches. So that is called a compound umbel. So this kind of flower is characterized in the case of Darkus carota and Coriandrum sativum, right? So they are the example of compound umbel. My dear student, here you can expect one more question. Which of the following is an example of compound umbel, right? If it is asked, you have to just write Darkus carota. And as I said, compound corium, I am going to show you the diagrammatic representation that you can understand quickly, right? Simply, it is a method, it is a arrangement by which the flowers are originated, right? So this is a compound corium, right? Now you can understand easily, my dear students. No more to get confused, simply. So this is an arrangement in this manner. Flowers are arranged, right? So this is an example of compound corium, right? So compound, what is the diagram? This diagram indicates arrangements of flower in this manner in some plant. What is the name of the plant? Cauliflower. So you can make a difference compound corium and the compound umbel, right? Here the stalk of the flower is dissimilar in size, in length. My dear student, you can understand here the corium type and the umbel type for the main axis shortened. I'm talking about the main axis are shortened, which are having different length of the stalk of the flower. I mean, pedicel is a different length, right? So that is a difference between corium and the. Repeatedly, I'm saying why I'm saying because this is a portion to be expected. One more question, right? Which of the following is an example of simple umbel? Dear students, did you understand?
Yes, sir.
Here we have discussed main axis shortened. How many times are the main axis shortened?
Two types.
The two types, sir.
Very good. What are the types? Could you mention the types?
The corium and amble.
Corium and amble.
Right. Will you give an example for corium? Example for corium type? Cassina. Very good. And will you give an example for compound corium?
Cauliflower.
Very good. And will you give an example for umbellate type? Umbel type.
Allium kappa.
Allium kappa.
The binomial of
Onion.
onion. Very good.
Onion plus
For compound umbel.
Onion.
Compound
coriandrum sativum.
Coriandrum
sativum. Kothaimalli. Right? Kothaimalli.
Yes, sir.
And one more is Dacus carota. If you take a carrot, carrot also example of the compound umbel, right? Dacus carota. That is a binomial of compound umbel, right? Okay, my dear students. Next, we move to another topic, that is the main axis ended or flattened with globe-like structure. So that is called, it is very interesting topic. So please know not to get confused, my dear students, right? Here, next we pass on to main axis flattened type. Flattened or globus. Generally, it is of the main axis. What is the main axis? Say, for example, one more example I am going to give you. Right leg and point out. Now, this is a plant where you feed. Intradex fragments. Intradex fragments in which this is the main axis, right? You find this flower, this kind of flowers are seen, right? Tridex fragments. At the top, you find a yellow color flower, right? My dear students, at the top, you find a yellow color flower. So this kind of flower is called, I think, main axis flattened. This is an example of a main axis flattened or globus. Right, I can say tridex fragments. Tridex fragments. And one more example I'm going to give you. That is a helianthus. Tridex, and one more example, helianthus. So I'm going to show you. It is also known as simply head inflorescence. The main axis flattened or globus, that is called a but this is a right example for this, right? My dear student, you can understand. This is a helianthus flower. I mean sunflower. The sunflower, you can see the main axis flattened. or a globe-like structure in some cases, right? So these flattened structure that contains torus, this torus consists of two types of flower. The one is a ray flower and another one is a disc florets. So there are two kinds of flower. They are called ray flowers and disc flower. So simply the small size of flower is called as florets. My dear student, if you take a helium thalamus or simply against a sunflower in which there will be two types of flower, right? So what are the flower? The first type is ray flower. And another flower is disc flower. So instead of flower, we can use a word that is a florets. Simply I can say disc florets. Disc florets. Florets nothing but a small sized flower which are found in the flattened or globe-like structure of the inflorescence. Such a condition, such a type is said to be the head inflorescence. The main axis of flattened that is called the head inflorescence, right? Head inflorescence, it is also known as capitulum. It is also called as capitulum. Or capitulum inflorescence or a head inflorescence. Which of the following inflorescence is known as a capitulum or a head inflorescence? The main axis is flattened. Which of the following is an example of a head inflorescence? Tradex procumbens and the helianthus. Sunflower. So sunflower is a right example to understand what is head inflorescence, right? Okay, this head inflorescence is further classified into two types of flowers. So it possesses, there are two types of flowers are present in case of head or this main axis of flat and right. So there are two types of inflorescence, two types of flowers which are present in the inflorescence, namely ray florets and disc florets. So based on the presence of these florets, the inflorescence are classified into following types. They are homogamous flower and heterogamous flower. Dear student, please understand it is also known as a head inflorescence. Now this head inflorescence consists of two types of flower. They are ray florets and disc florets. So first of all, let me take the presence of all the flowers, either ray florets or disc floret. Such a condition is said to be as homogamous flower. Homogamous. Homo, similar. And another type is a heterogamous flower. Second type is a heterogamous flower. Homogamous means all the flowers are similar in size, whereas heterogamous means there are two different kinds of flower. They are ray florets and disc florets. Hence, it is known as a heterogamous flower. So, the presence of either florets, it is of either simply disc florets or ray florets. The presence of either ray florets or disc florets. Right? Either the presence of either ray florets or disc florets. Generally, ray florets are found at the margin of the head inflorescence, whereas disc florets, simply the florets are present. What is floret? The small sized flower, that is called disc florets. These disc florets are found at the center of the inflorescence or head inflorescence or capitula. So either the presence of ray florets or disc florets in a flower, it is said to be as homogamous. Whereas heterogamous means simply the presence of both. The presence of both ray florets and disc florets. Ray florets and disc florets. These two different florets are found in the envelope structure that is called as simply heterogamous. Hetero means two different. Gamous means gametes producing organ, that is a flower. So here there are two different kinds of flower, ray florets and disc florets. Both of them are found in the same inflorescence, that is called a heterogamous flower. Right? For a homogamous flower, I like to give an example for that. Simply Lonia and Vernonia. Right? It is very interesting topic, my dear students. Please understand, I am talking about head inflorescence or capitulum inflorescence because it comes under main axis flattened. For that, I am going to give an example for a homogeneous flower. The first category is a Lonia. Lonia. One more example I would like to give. Vernonia. Vernonia. Both of them I am going to show you that you can understand. And talking about heterogamous flower, only one flower that is very typical, right? That is Helianthus. Sunflower. Helianthus is a binomial of sunflower. That possesses both the ray florets and the disc florets. In order to understand, I am going to show you the head inflorescence. There is a platform that is an involucre that encloses. Right? So simply this is a head inflorescence. My dear students, please understand. Right? Now you can understand. So the main axis, which is ending with a platform-like structure that is called an involucre, a complex structure that is a disc-like structure that is an involucre. Now, these involucres, the receptacle simply, or the stalk of the flower is called a simply receptacle. Now, this is a receptacle which gives rise to form two different kinds of flower. They are ray florets and disc florets. As I said, ray florets are present at the margin. My dear student, please understand. When you see the structure of a head inflorescence, in which you find ray florets are present in the margin or at the margin. Whereas the disc florets are present at the center. Now, if you take this is a diagrammatic representation in which you find two different sizes and two different flowers. They are ray florets and disc florets. Actually, ray florets are ligulate like structure. My dear student, please understand, I am talking about ray florets. What is its shape? Ligule or ligulate. What is ligulate? Shape of the florets, ray florets, it's a ligulate. Whereas disc florets, it is nothing but the disc florets are present like a tubular like structure. Tubular. So tubular-like structure, disc florets are the shape. There's a tubular-like structure, right? So now when you see the structure, you can find the difference and shape. The first type is ray florets like ligulate, whereas disc florets are tubular-like structure, right? Dear students, did you understand?
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
I'm talking about the main axis of end inflorescence or plant globus-like structure, right? So simply I can say, if you take a helium, there's a sunflower. Have you seen sunflower anywhere?
Yes, sir.
Sunflower, which is sunflower that produces sunflower oil, right? Okay, no problem. Understand? So in sunflower, you see this kind of florets, right? So you mentioned the shape of the ray florets, dear students. My dear students, we have discussed two types of florets, ray florets and disc. What is the shape of ray florets? Here, ligulate.
Liquid.
Are you able to understand or not?
Yes, sir. Liquid.
How do you understand of ray florets from disc florets? Could you mention the location?
Yes, sir.
Are you going to mention? Yes, one of you mention, please. Ray florets, where it is present?
It is the margin of
Very good.
the end. Florets.
Margin of the disc
Margin of the
floret.
end.
Disc floret, what is where it is location? Where it is
Center
located?
of
Of the head.
Center of the
Center. Very good. Right? If both flowers are present in inflorescence, that is called as heterogamous flower. Heterogamous. Then what do you understand about the homogamous? The presence of either
Single kind of florets.
either the presence of ray florets or
single kind of
florets.
Single kind of
Either
floret.
or. Simply, if you take any flower that consists of either ray florets or disc florets, so that is called a homogamous.
Homogamous head.
Right? Did you understand what is homogamous and what is heterogamous?
Yes, sir.
Dear student, kindly cooperate. Then only you can understand this morphology. Morphology is the knowledge of morphology is very essential to understand taxonomical terms. Right? We are going to use repeatedly morphological terms. Right? The type of inflorescence, right? And type of number of sepal petal and receptacles. So many words that we are going to use repeatedly. That's why I'm giving stress. I'm giving more importance to morphological topics. Right? Okay. So this is a right example of ray florets and the disc florets. Now let's move for the topic. Exactly. Here, as I said, the homogamous and the heterogamous. For homogamous, Lonia, Vernonia. Talking about heterogamous flower, I'm going to give an example, right? You can understand easily, right? So here homogamous plant, right? That is a Lonia plant. Right, students? Please understand. I have given Lonia. It is an example of a homogamous flower. Homogamous flower. Lonia is an example of a homogamous flower. Whereas heterogamous flower. Before that, I would like to show one more example for homogeneous flower. I have collected some example to you, right? Vernonia. So these species are very rare to see, right? So it is a right time to see, to understand. Here, the presence of all the flowerates are similar, right? My dear students, I have given two different flowers. What are they?
Vermonia.
Harmonia.
Here, could you mention the type of flower florets, either ray florets or disc florets?
Sir, disc florets.
Very good. Disc florets.
Dischlorate.
Morphologically, all the florets are same. The presence of disc florets. Because how do you say that the flower is a disc floret? By the presence of tubular-like structure. The florets are having tubular-like structure, that is called a simply disc floret. From disc florets. Flower is said to be as a homogamous. So now, if any question is asked, are you going to answer?
Sir.
Could you give an example for homogamous flower once again? Vernonia. Repeat the term. Vernonia.
Vermonia.
Very good. Right, you can understand. Okay. So next we pass on to heterogamous flower. In beginning itself, just I have shown you, right? So both florets are present in a flower that is a heterogamous flower. For that, I'd like to give an example, that is a sun-facing flower, sunflower. Because it possesses two different flowers, ray florets and disc florets. Dear students, you can understand the presence of ray florets, and at the center you find disc florets. So hence it is a heterogamous flower. Today we have discussed only two topics: main axis short end and main axis ended with the inflorescence or flattened or globus like structure, right? Just I'd like to review so far what we have discussed, right? My dear student, simple topic that we have discussed. I'd like to review once again. Main axis short end and main axis elongated. Main axis short end, it is up to corium umbel, and main axis ended or flat end, it is two types of flower, right? That is a homogeneous flower and a heterogeneous, because it is having simply head inflorescence or capitulum. This is a head, it consists of two different flowers, ray florets and disc florets, and the difference between ray florets and disc florets that we have discussed, right? So thank you for joining, my dear students, and when I come to next class, I try to prepare and try to practice more than once in your body note, right? Thank you for joining. I'm going to give you home assignment. Please take note, right? Once again, thank you for joining.